Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 14, King Chitraketu's Lamentation, verse number 2. 2 has no purports, so 2, 3 and 4. 4 has purport. We will read verse 4 together. 2 and 3 I'll read by myself. Devanam Shuddha Sattvanam Rishinam Chamalatmanam Bhaktir Mukunda Charane Na Prayeno Pajayate. Demigods situated in the mode of goodness and great saints, cleansed of the dirt of material enjoyment, hardly ever render pure devotional service at the lotus feet of Mukunda. Therefore, how could Vritrasura have become such a great devotee? Verse number 3. Rajobhihi samashankyataha Parthiveriha jantavaha Tesham ye kechane hante Shreyo vai manujadayaha. Translation. In this material world, there are as many living entities as atoms. Among these living entities, very few are human beings, and among them, very few are interested in following religious principles. Verse number 4, we will repeat. Prayo mumukshavasteşam kechanaiva dvijottama mumukshunam sahasreshu kaschin muchyeta siddhyati. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. O best of the Brahmanas, Shukadev Goswami, out of many persons who follow the religious principles, only a few desire liberation from the material world. And among many thousands who desire liberation, one may actually achieve liberation, giving up material attachment to society, friendship, love, country, home, wife and children. And among many thousands of such liberated persons, one who can understand the true meaning of liberation is very rare. Purport. There are 4 classes of men, namely karmis, jnanis, yogis and bhaktas. This statement pertains especially to karmis and jnanis. A karmi tries to be happy within this material world by changing from one body to another. His objective is bodily comfort, either in this planet or in another. When such a person becomes a jnani, however, he aspires for liberation from material bondage. Among many such persons who aspire for liberation, one may actually be liberated during his life. Such a person gives up his attachment for society, friendship, love, country, family, wife, and children. Among many such persons who are in the Vanaprastha stage, one may understand the value of becoming sannyasi, completely accepting the renounced order of life. So here in this chapter, in the previous chapter, we saw how Vritrasura spoke to Indra. His words were full of meaning, words of a realized soul, although he was in the body of a demon, but he was a great devotee. We have been reading this. And in this chapter, we will see what was Vritrasura's previous life. And that's how the chapter title is, King Chitraketu's Lamentation. He was actually Chitraketu in the previous life. And so, seeing Vritrasura in a demon body, speaking such exalted words, speaking words of pure devotional service, Parikshit Maharaj asks this question to Shukadev Goswami in the previous verse, that how Vritrasura attained such exalted love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's confused how a demon could attain such an exalted position. And then further he's asking, so that is today's verse 2, 3 and 4, for which Shukadev Goswami is replying in 3 and 4. Parikshit Maharaj further asks a question, and then Shukadev Goswami responds in verse number 3 and 4. So basically, these verses today that we are reading is talking about two main points. One, what is pure devotional service? The platform that Vritrasura achieved. And two, how rare it is to achieve this platform. Extremely rare. It is not so easy to achieve pure devotional service. So these are the two main topics. So in this verse, Parikshit's question, demigods situated in the mode of goodness and great saints cleansed of the dirt of material enjoyment hardly ever render pure devotional service at the lotus feet of the Lord. Therefore, how could Vritrasura have become such a great devotee? So you see here it is mentioned, what is the rarity of pure devotional service? That great saints and demigods situated in the mode of goodness, after being cleansed of the dirt of material enjoyment, not so easy to come to this state, to be cleansed of the dirt of material enjoyment. After that also, their rendering pure devotional service to the lotus feet of Mukunda is very rare. This is so, you may get cleansed of all the material dirt, but to serve there is not so easy to is not so easy to achieve. So what is pure devotional service? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has described very nicely in the Shikshashtaka. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha kamaye. Na dhanam, I do not want wealth. It is not so easy to aspire for that. Na dhanam, na janam, I do not want great followers. We all aspire. I want a lot of people following me. I want a lot of praise, accolades. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, I do not want association of beautiful women. Na sundarim, kavitam va jagadisha, and I also do not want to engage in fruitive activities described in flowery language in the scriptures. Activities, fruitive activities means pious activities. I do this and I get this. I don't want any of these things. Then what do I want? Mama janmani janma ishware. Life after life, I want only one thing. Bhavatad bhaktir ahe tuki twahi. Bhavatad, let there be bhakti. Bhakti unto you. Bhaktir mukunda charane, this verse says. So what is Mahaprabhu saying? What kind of bhakti? Mukunda charane? Ahe tuki twahi. This is the most important thing. Ahe tuki means pure devotional service is this, that I want to serve without any motive, without any desire. I will not find out a material cause for rendering devotional service. I have taken to devotional service because of my pure love for Krishna. And I just want to serve the Lord. Lord is everything to me. I do not want anything in return. So this is not such an easy position. The demigods, here demigods situated and the cleansed of all the material enjoyment, hardly render pure devotion service, because even the demigods are rendering service. It is said, Prabhupada writes, who becomes the demigods? If you want to become demigod, then we must have the pure desire to serve the Lord. I want to serve the Lord. That desire should be there, pure desire. But at the same time, I want to lord it over the material world. So Krishna places you, okay, you serve me very nicely. Big service, this is administration of the entire universe. It's not a small service. Just like, management service is the highest service. That's why CEOs, CXOs, they're all in the management level, is the highest service. So the demigods are also doing one of the best services in the material world, but maintaining the desire to lord over. So, to give, render pure, so this is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu defines ahetuki, without any desire for self-satisfaction. I want to enjoy something on my own without Krishna. No, I want only Krishna's satisfaction. I don't care about my satisfaction. Like Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, during the execution of devotional service, there may be so many difficulties, but those difficulties are also welcome. And I want them, let them come. Because that is, those difficulties are not, he says those difficulties are not difficulties. In fact, I would welcome them because ultimately I am serving the Lord. Sheyoto parama sukha, seva sukha dukkha, whatever in the seva sukha dukkha happens, everything is parama sukha. Even the dukkha is parama sukha. You see this consciousness? Even the dukkha in the seva is sheyoto parama sukha. So if we have this understanding, I am serving Lord. It is not an ordinary thing. Why am I worried? If this is coming, that is coming, everything should be welcome because ultimately I am doing Lord's service. So as long as there is any pinch of desire, okay, this is not convenient, as long as there is any thinking, this is not convenient, that is not convenient, why this like this, then it is not bhakti. Because you are placing conditions. Bhakti means ahetuki apratihata. Apratihata means nothing material can come in the way of bhakti. If you are thinking that this is stopping my bhakti, that is not bhakti. Because nothing material can stop your bhakti. That's called apratihata. Just like the Ganges water. You try to put something, the water will still continue flowing. A river will continuously flow. No matter what obstructions you put in the river will not stop its flow towards the ocean. That is apratihata. So we must always remember this. Pure bhakti means I cannot put any conditions for my bhakti. The moment I put conditions for my bhakti, this is not suitable, that is not suitable, this is not favorable, it is not pure bhakti. It is Mishra bhakti. Apratihata and ahetuki. And there is no cause. I am doing this cause so that I can, okay, there may not be any impediments, but I'll do bhakti so that this situation will be okay, that situation will be okay. No situation. Let my situation let my situation worsen. I will still do bhakti. Like the gopis of Vrindavan. Krishna is having a headache, take dust from our lotus feet. Doesn't matter whether we will go to hell. Krishna will be relieved of his headache. This is pure devotional service. So this understanding must be there, and that is why in the Chaitanya Charitamrita has read Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakale Ashanta Krishna Bhakta Nishkam Ataiva Shanta. Bhukti, the next verse, Bhukti Mukti Siddhi. They're all not ordinary people. Bhukti means, of course, they're aspiring after, they're working for fruitive desires. Mukti means they're aspiring for liberation. Siddhi means they are also aspiring something. I want to achieve the state of Yoga Siddhi, where I have 8 mystic powers. I can become smaller than the smallest. So they have all given up this material, the desire to, these petty desires of the material world. But still they have desires. Krishna Bhakta Nishkam Ataiva Shanta. This is Krishna Bhakta. He has absolutely no material desires, and that is why he is satisfied. So a devotee should remember, the moment I have any other desire than to satisfy Krishna, I will not be happy. And in that process of serving Krishna, everything should be welcome. So here, in the next 2 verses, now very nicely here, the Bhagavatam is describing how rare devotional service is. Some 6 stages are mentioned here. Let's try to read this. He starts off with, in the material world, this is verse number 3 in the material world, there are as many living entities as atoms. You can imagine atoms are uncountable. So that many living entities are there. Among these unlimited living entities, a very few are human beings. Very few human beings. And among them, the third level, among them, those who are human beings, few are interested in following religious principles. Become still few. And out of those few, next verse, out of many persons who are following religious principles, only a few desire liberation from the material world. So it becomes even more fewer. And among thousands of those who desire liberation, desiring liberation is one thing, but achieving liberation is another thing. So among those who actually desire liberation, one may actually achieve liberation. And what is liberation? Giving up material attachment to society, friendship, love, country, home, wife, and children. One may actually achieve this state. And among many thousands of such liberated persons, one who can understand the true meaning of liberation is very rare. We have still not come to pure devotional service. You see how rare it is? That pure devotional service is nicely described in the next verse. So, very few desire liberation, and out of those few, hardly one achieves liberation, and those who are many thousands of such liberated person, one who understands the true meaning is very rare. Prabhupada explains this in the purport that what is liberation. Liberation means, here it is mentioning being freed from this attachment, all the material attachments, that you're liberated from all these material attachments. Such persons among many such persons who are in the Vanaprastha stage, one may, that is the liberated stage. Vanaprastha means, Vanaprastha means you've given up all attachments. The true Vanaprastha stage. And among many such persons who are in the Vanaprastha, one may understand the value of becoming sannyasi, completely accepting the renounced order of life. That is, a sannyasi he has truly understood the meaning of liberation. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, something very similar is mentioned. How rare devotional service is. This is in the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Rupa Goswami. He says that Mahaprabhu is saying that there are stationary objects and non-stationary objects. Non-stationary objects are the movable and non-movable. Non-movable means trees and things like that. And movable are all the living species. Of course, trees also living, but they are non-movable. Among the movable are the human beings, animals, birds, insects. So human beings are very, very few. We know human population is very few when compared to all other. In this small human population, there are very few who are actually civilized. Most of the human population are non-civilized. Now, how do we define who is civilized, who is non-civilized? Civilized means those who are actually following the Vedic scriptures. That is the meaning of those who are civilized. Now, among those who are actually civilized, at least who claim to be civilized, most of them who are saying that they follow the Vedic scriptures, they are giving only lip service, means saying that they follow Vedic scriptures, but they actually don't follow Vedic scriptures. They're committing all kinds of sinful activities, taking the help of the Vedic scriptures. So and then among them who actually say that they are following the Vedic scriptures, among them, very few actually follow the Vedic scriptures. And which portion of the Vedic scriptures they actually follow? The Karma Kandiya portion. the fruitive portion. Okay, this is there in the Vedas. I will do this and I will get this much money. I'll get this much labha. I'll get this much punya. I'll go to the upper planetary system. I'll enjoy like the demigods. My lifespan will increase. My health will increase. Very few actually do this. Today, nobody is doing this also. And among those who are in this stage, who are actually, following the karma kandya process, hardly one becomes intelligent. After following this for many, many years, they think this is not really giving me happiness. Why am I doing this? Very, very, very few. Some get attached to it. This happiness is very nice. I can live for 10,000 years. I can drink the somarasa and be, strong. And so there are very few who actually become wise. And out of those very few who become wise, there is hardly one who will actually be liberated. They are even more rare. So you see, and the pure, who becomes a devotee, that is a different. So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita it is said, Koti Jnani Madhye Hoy Ek Jana Mukta. Today we are talking of the Jnani. Koti of the Mukta. Koti Jnani. Jnani itself is those who become very wise. Amongst crores of them, Hoy Ek Jan Mukta. One person may become liberated. And Koti Mukta Madhye. Koti Mukta Madhye means, out of crores of those who have actually become Mukta, Durlabh Ek Krishna Bhakta. One Krishna Bhakta. It's not that one Krishna Bhakta will come. Everywhere it's out of crores, one is coming out. Out of those ones, if you make it crores, one is coming out. But this is finally out of crores of those who have become Mukta. Hoy Durlabh Ek Krishna Bhakta. One Krishna Bhakta is very durlabh, is very rare. So you see the position of pure devotional service. In that Bhagavad Gita verse, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about pure devotional service. Man mana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. This is nothing but pure devotional service. In that purport of that verse, in the purport of 9.34, Prabhupada is writing, what is pure devotional service for the human society? What kind of an achievement this pure devotional service is? He says, pure devotional service is the highest achievement of human society. So, everybody in this material world, they want to achieve the highest, isn't it? I want to be the best. So for somebody, becoming CEO is the highest. For somebody, owning a big company is the highest. For so many material things, people think that this is the best. But what is best? Pure devotional service is the highest achievement of the human society. So we must know, we have taken birth. This human life itself is so rare. Ei Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Kripa Paye Bhakti Lata Bij. After taking this rare human form of life, I have got that bija. Now I should not waste it. Now I should not, take it lightly. I must be very, very serious. And so many places, Krishna is stressing this again and again in the Bhagavad Gita. Take it up very seriously. It's a very rare thing we have got. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanvan mam prapadyate vasudevam sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlabha. Durlabha is rare, sudurlabha is very rare. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanvan mam prapadyate. After many, many lifetimes, one jnani, one wise person will surrender to me. Vasudevam sarvamiti, understanding that Vasudeva is everything, such a soul is very rare. So after having achieved Manushya, so many places Krishna is saying, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhai. Yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam vetti tatvata. You see this verse, this Manushyanam sahasreshu, out of thousands of Manushyanam, kaschid yatati siddhai, hardly one will try to achieve perfection. And yatatam api siddhanam, those who have actually achieved perfection. So what is real perfection is the question. Krishna is saying, out of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. That means people don't understand that the highest perfection is to know Krishna. There's no higher perfection than that. Any other perfection is an imagined perfection for the human civilization. It's not true perfection, because you may achieve a very good position, your birth, death, old age, disease will continue. Even from the liberated stage, we will fall down, as Prabhupada explains. So this is something very rare we have gotten, and we should, take it up very seriously. Once one devotee wrote to Prabhupada while he was preaching. He was finding it difficult. He was finding difficulty in convincing people about Krishna consciousness. That is what it appears from his letter. So Prabhupada says, yes, you are right. Krishna consciousness is not an ordinary thing. It's a very, very rare thing. And then he compares Krishna consciousness to a rare diamond, a rare gem. So diamonds are there, but not everybody has the capacity to buy. You must have the capacity to buy. So this is something like we know what is pure devotional service. But we should qualify. Capacity to buy means you should be qualified. You should have that much of money. So similarly, we know everything about Krishna Bhakti. All that we have to do is we have to qualify ourselves to achieve it. And it is not difficult actually, when we have Srila Prabhupada, a pure devotee, giving us everything that we need to know about pure devotional service. Prabhupada then writes to him in the letter, he continues that if even 0.01% of the world population take up Krishna consciousness, the whole situation of this planet Earth will change. Of course, he said different things, but in this letter, in some places, he says, we have to make the whole world Krishna conscious. But it is so rare that if even 0.01% people take up Krishna consciousness, that will change the face of the whole world. So that's why in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, so this is the faith that we must have, conviction. That yes, this is everything. And I should take it up very seriously. Durlabham manushim manava janma tadapi adhruvam arthadam. Everyone is saying the same thing. It's so rare. So this gift is not ordinary what we have received. So we should not, Prabhupada said, what you should be thinking of if you want to be serious. Like this. He said, always remember, if you want to be really serious in Krishna consciousness, remember one thing. Remember that death is next moment. You're going to die next moment. And because if you're going to die next, just like you see Shukdev, Parikshit Maharaj, how serious, of course, he was a devotee, he was a pure devotee. But you see, when he got a notice of 7 days, so seriously he took it up. Khatvanga Maharaj, when he went to the Devaloka to help them, and then Devatas were happy with his help, and they asked him that, okay, now we want to bless you with something, ask a boon. He didn't ask for anything. He said, okay, just let me know one thing. How much of my lifespan is remaining? And then he said, oh, looks like you have only 1 moment of lifespan remaining. And he achieved perfection in that 1 moment. So you see, so we are so blissfully living, not aware we are going to meet our end sooner or later. And when that end will come, we don't know. So I have to become very serious. Parikshit Maharaj then asks a question, what is the ultimate duty of those who are about to die? And there's no one who can say that we are not going to die. I mean, not about to die. We don't know when we are going to die. So Prabhupada says, if you want to be serious, always remember, you're going to die any moment. And then he says, and if you don't want to be serious in Krishna consciousness, you must think that you are never going to die. Although that is not a fact. And actually, although we don't think like this, that, okay, I'm never going to die, although we know we have death, but the consciousness that we are living in the material world, is something like this only. We are blissfully living our lives, not realizing we are going to have an end. I'm not at all worried about, I have an end date. I have a birthday. We celebrate our birthday so much. But we forget about our end date. And that end date is more important to us than any other date. Because that day, Krishna will take the final decision, where is your next destination? Whether your destination is back to Godhead, freed from birth, death, old age, disease, or you continue your journey in the material world. Only two things. Even if you get liberated, you have to come back. Only two destinations we have. Journey continues in the material world, or we go back to the spiritual world. So knowing this, oh my God, I've been suffering so much life after life. Bahunam Janmanam. I don't want to take this up again. The same life, this material life. I should be so serious. Prayateta kovido taseva heta prayasa prayateta yatantasche. So many places this thing is repeatedly stressed in our scriptures. That's why even the chanting, Harir Nama, Harir Nama, Harir Nama eva kevalam, Kalo nas. This is a very, very complex material world. Kalir dosha nidhe rajan. Don't get into solving. You cannot solve the problems of the material world. It is non-solvable. You'd only get out of this material world. That is intelligence. People think, I'll solve this, I'll solve that. You cannot solve, sir. This material world is meant to confuse you. Like we read that quote. We are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death. Look at the words that Prabhupada is using. Birth and death, we know. It's like a mesh. You can't come out of this. And it's very complicated. And we're entangled in it. Entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death. It's like if a fish gets entangled in a net, he cannot come out of it. The only way the fish can come out, if it is caught in a fishing net, is by the mercy of the fisherman. Otherwise it cannot come out. We are in the similar position. We are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death. But we have Srila Prabhupada with us, who can free us, who has given us all the knowledge. His blessing is there to get freed from this mesh. And that process is the chanting of the holy name and rendering devotional service, pure devotional service, always reminding ourselves, smara nitya anityatam, always remember, any day I may die. We should always think, have I achieved perfection today? Or I have not achieved. If I die tomorrow, what's going to happen? Every day we should be desiring for perfection. So, we should, have full conviction, full faith in this process. Take it up very, very seriously. This is not, we have been, so this difficult, rare position to go back to Godhead has been made available to us by the blessings of a pure, and only a pure devotee can take you back to the spiritual world. No one else can take you back. So we have all facility available. This most difficult thing in this age of Kali has been made so simple, so easy. The process is there and a pure devotee is there. We just have to follow the orders very strictly and have firm faith in this process. Like the Shraddha Shabde Vishwasa Kahe Sudredha Nishchaya Krishna Bhakti Koile Sarva Karma Krita Hoya. I will achieve perfection. Prabhupada translates this very, very nicely. What is Shraddha? What is faith? Shraddha Sabde Vishwasa Kahe. So, Prabhupada translates this. Faith means what? Faith means complete conviction, not just conviction, complete conviction that simply by serving the Supreme Lord or simply by chanting the holy name, one can achieve all perfection. Not just perfection. Perfection is one thing. So we must have complete conviction that I can achieve all perfection. What more we need? We are all wanting perfection. Na? All perfection is there. You don't want anything more than all. And you should have complete conviction. So there will be so many obstacles. A devotee has to tolerate all obstacles in life. He has to pass through all the tests because the destination is very, very wonderful. And it is not at all difficult. It is very easy. So Shraddha Shabde Vishwas kahe. That, so Prabhupada says, what kind of Vishwas? Sudridha. In the Chaitanya Charita. Sudridha Nishchaya. Look at the word. Sudridha. Firm. Nishchaya. Completely convinced. That's why Prabhupada translates this verse as faith means complete conviction. Conviction itself is enough. But there's a difference between conviction and complete conviction. Because the verse says, Vishwasa Sudrida Nishchaya Vishwasa. Not just ordinary Vishwasa. Sarva Karma Kritahaya. All perfection. So such wonderful instructions are there in our scriptures. We should, keep reading them. That's why reading is very, very important. We should keep reading them, keep meditating on them, keep thinking about them, and pray to Krishna. Please help me. I want to be this. I want to get freed from this. I just want to serve you. Keep me anywhere. I just want to serve you. Nothing else. So these are some of the things mentioned here. And so in the last chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita, this na dhanam naj ahai to kitvai. This is a very nice prayer. So in a Bengali, this prayer comes out in simple terms. Dhana jana nahi mangi kavita sundari. Dhana jana nahi mangi kavita sundari. Then what do I want? Shuddha bhakti deho more Krishna kripa kori. Shuddha, I just want pure devotional service, nothing else. So Krishna is there, ready to give us. We should be just willing. We should just show our eagerness. Just by our eagerness, our strong desire, we can get it. Bhakti is so simple. In the material world, just by a desire and eagerness, you cannot get anything material. You have to struggle hard. But see, bhakti is so simple. The best of the things, you can get it simply by becoming eager. Just like a child. If he's eager, if he's sincere, Father will give him everything. So although we have the rarest thing to achieve, but it is so easily achievable and simply by desiring. So that desire should be there. Simply by being eager, simply by being sincere, Krishna will bless us with everything. So this verse is talking about, now we have come to the point of liberation. And now the next verse we will see, in this liberation which is very, very rarely achieved, who achieves the position of back to Godhead. We close here. Grantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanand.